What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here, you can call me Irish, and today you're going to be watching some Battlefield 3 highlights. Again, I still haven't gotten Battlefield 4, unfortunately, so that's what you're going to be watching. The first half of it is going to be a pretty good tank run on Damavan P Conquest, and then the second half is going to be a last push on, I want to say Shark Eye Peninsula, but I always get the... Even now that Battlefield 4 is out, even at this stage in Battlefield 3, I still get the Back to Karkan maps mixed up for some reason. But yeah, I think it's Shark Eye Peninsula, and it's just a really strong push that we do to get the last MCOMs armed. And I give a fairly helping hand with the. You'll notice that I put down the spawn beacon and stuff, which keeps our position where we were basically. But that's just what you're going to be watching. The video that I'm going to do today is going to be about Battlefield 4 and the kind of launch problems that it's had. I've tried to stay away from it because naturally I don't have the game, I haven't really experienced anything, so I can't really give my personal experience or opinion on it. But just from what I can see, there's a lot going on, and everyone knows, I think anybody in the Battlefield community that's been watching the YouTube videos and follows people on Twitter and stuff, they've seen the rage and the outrage, and they just... somewhat of a fail. Like, it's, I think on one way, Battlefield and DICE and EA are a little lucky that they happened to launch Battlefield 4 around the same time that YouTube decided to do their Google Plus thing, because that's taken quite a bit of the heat away from them, but they are still getting quite a bit of venom on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff. So to get into it, basically the game launched, and it's the usual nowadays. It shouldn't be the usual, but it is basically the usual nowadays. Games launch, they're not completely ready, and they basically sometimes tend to be broken, or certain things tend not to work, or the games crash, or there's bugs, or there's glitches. But in Battlefield 4's particular case, as far as sort of imbalance and bugs and glitches and stuff like that, I'm not seeing too many of them. Like, I know the stretchy arm soldier, like the Stretch Armstrong soldier guy, he's back again in only in body form instead of his neck this time. But other than that, there hasn't been too many real kind of glitches or bugs that people have really been raging about. There hasn't been exactly like another use as frag rounds. Well, technically there has, because they put it in specifically. But like, there hasn't been any, like, from what I can tell, game-breaking bugs or glitches or anything like that. It's more to do with what people are calling, air quotes, netcode. But that myth has since been squashed, basically. We know that it's not actually... specifically netcode in what netcode is. It is that, but it's also other things. But basically the main problem is that people are having bad connections. The games are crashing, they're dropping out of games halfway through. The servers are crashing and losing all their experience, any unlocks, any experience that they got throughout that game. Say if you're, like, imagine having to play like an hour-long epic game of 1,000 ticket conquest, and then with like 10 tickets left, the server crashes and you lose everything. That's basically what people have been experiencing, among other things, among just general client crashes where they do save their stats, but this great game that they would have had it lost, it crashed out. And what I wanted to talk about that is a lot of people get really mad, and like, I posted this on Twitter a couple of days ago. I think it might have actually been last week or so. But I got annoyed by people saying, oh, well, back in the days back when I was younger, they didn't rush games out. They didn't have to pre-patch them. They just worked when they launched. And yeah, that's true, obviously. But the task that developers have nowadays is like exponentially bigger. It's a much huger task to make and release on time a working version of something like Battlefield 4 than it is to like release a working, flawless version of Mario. Like, and I know it all scales, the technology back then, they didn't know as much and all that, blah, blah, blah. But by and large, the challenge is much greater, and I think that they do deserve a bit of slack. Some people seem to be under the impression that they are just doing it, like they're doing it on purpose. They purposely rushed out a bad game. And like, what you need to remember is these are people, and these are people's jobs. Like, people aren't purposely putting out really bad games and just being lazy and being like, oh, well, I'll fix it sometimes or I'll fix it in the future with a patch. Yes, maybe there is that element of kind of complacency that they've gotten over the years, and like, they know that they're allowed to do it, so they do it. As Scanner Barkley, a friend of mine, pointed out on Twitter to me, he's like, it's just it's just a standard that slipped over the years that they've fallen into, basically, and we shouldn't be letting it happen. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be, but it just does happen. When they do all the playtesting, I'm one in particular, when it happens to me, one of my first things that I say out of frustration is, God damn it, they did betas, they tested, why the hell is it still broken? Well, yeah, they did betas and they tested it, but at the same time, I'm not sure if they could have like you can't test in house or whatever the kind of stresses and the kind of things that could happen when you release the game to millions upon millions of people. Like, you just can't prepare for that, as far as I'm aware. They can do all kinds of simulations and stuff, but just while I realise it's horribly frustrating, while I realise people are like going out at their wits' end about losing stats and losing progression and stuff like that, I would be the exact same if I had the game. Unfortunately, I don't, which is another thing that I want to say. I'll get to that in a second. But unfortunately, these things do just happen, and it does suck. But I think a little bit of kind of just giving them a bit of slack and just knowing that they will get to it, they will fix it. They are doing their best as far as I can see. There's another patch to come tomorrow that's supposed to be a really, really big fix. And it will be put right eventually. And I know that will never ring true to some people. Some people will always say, well, it shouldn't be fixed eventually. It should have released without a problem. Well, coulda, shoulda, woulda, unfortunately. But what I wanted to say then about me not having the game, I'm kind of glad that I didn't get it though. Saying all that, I'm kind of glad that I'm not able to get the game. Possibly, maybe I may be able to get it on Tuesday. That's possible, this coming Tuesday. But if not, Christmas is when I'll be getting it. And I have to say, I'm kind of happy that I escaped all these problems, because as much as I see the common sense and I just explained everything there, I have saved myself a lot of like irritation and grief and hassle and all that, having to worry about everything that's been going on, like by not being able to get it. So that's kind of a positive. As far as the actual game goes, people seem to be enjoying it, except for all these problems. It seems to be a great game. Everything that I can see from it seems to be pretty good. People are talking about certain weapon balances and stuff like that not being the best. Like overall, as I said, overall they're pretty good. They're pretty on point with the weapon balance. There's no real glitches or bugs or anything overpowered really. But the DMRs apparently in particular are kind of weak. They like, people would like to see the DMRs get buffed. Although Alan Kurtz, actually, Demise99, just put up on Twitter a couple of hours ago that they're not by any means getting a patch to make them 50 damage per shot. So that's off the table. But by and large, I just wanted to just kind of calm people. If you see this and you're one of those people that have been freaking out, I realise, I feel you, brother or sister, as the case may be. I get it that it's really frustrating, but just stick with it. Don't be giving people grief. Don't be like hassling people, and obviously obviously make your complaints known and all that, but like, don't be a dick about it. Know that it will be fixed, it will be worked on, and just appreciate the game while it works, as it were. Like, while it's working, when you're having that good game, remember that good game. Remember that, like, that great game that you played yesterday. When you're getting as frustrated as you can be, remember that one time when it worked yesterday. And I know that I'm sounding like a big dickhead now, just being like, oh, you're such a fanboy or whatever like that. It's not even that. It's just, I always try to see the best. I try to be positive about things like this. So hopefully by the time I pick it up, once again, sound like a dick, but hopefully by the time I pick it up, all these kind of things will be ironed out, and it won't be nearly as bad. But you can see there, I did a great job in my opinion, defending this last push for the last MCOM. We do get it. It does blow up as I'm checking it there. But that's pretty much it. That's just what I wanted to cover really quickly. I thought, even though I haven't been experiencing it myself, I should probably talk about it a little bit and give my opinions on it, on the kind of the launch issues that the game has had. So that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.